Why are some states suddenly making a bunch of laws against marginalized groups? Everyone is accepting the premise that this is new. But as someone who's worked in state legislation for nearly a decade, it's not. Because there's a midterm election coming up in November and wedge culture war issues are the easiest way to motivate their base. They got you fighting a culture war to stop you fighting a class war. There's an actual, specific answer regarding some of these laws. I'm surprised it isn't in this thread. Many of these specific laws are being passed because the U.S. Supreme Court did not strike down this Texas law banning abortions after 6 weeks. The reason this specific law is so influential is that it uses a novel enforcement mechanism, enabling private citizens to sue one another, rather than the state. The law was designed this way specifically to avoid an outright block by the Supreme Court. We often say that the Supreme Court strikes down a law, but that's not really what they do. What they actually do is prevent the government from enforcing it. The Texas law relies on the interpretation that, because it's a private citizen, and not a gov. official, suing someone, the Supreme Court cannot do anything about it. Since the majority of the court appeared to accept that logic, conservative states are rushing to pass bills enabling effective discrimination against other minorities using that same enforcement mechanism. Private lawsuits. Florida's Don't Say Gay bill is one example. Reddit isn't a great place to get an accurate read on anything political. When you go on Reddit, getting news from Reddit posts is why. So you focus on that instead of economic issues that are fucking everyone in the ass. Culture wars. Those on the right don't want their working class base to wake up to the fact that their fundamental economic interests are not being advanced by the people they vote for. So they wage culture wars to keep them enraged and distracted. Ignore posts about how the laws aren't really that bad. That's called gaslighting. A new bit of legal tech has been invented to bypass any sort of constitutional protections in. They're trying to make use of it before the loophole gets closed. Essentially, the Constitution only protects you from government action. And Republicans have discovered that they can indirectly deputize citizens to attack each other with a bounty system. It's very clever. And they'll be kicking themselves when they realize that this also bypasses all of the constitutional rights that they like. I would say politics. Midterm elections. But it is also important to know what a law says versus what people say a law says. Both parties often mislead the public on what a law actually is doing or how it will affect people. It's all these old white men and women still in office with their backwards beliefs. Distraction. They have us fighting a culture war to distract us from fighting a class war. It's a tactic employed for thousands of years for the wealthy and powerful to keep their wealth in power. COVID showed the world how unjust the system is. And people were getting to the breaking point of rebellion. Hey, them trans kids are the source of all your problems, yes. Hate them. All of a sudden, the money issues take a backseat to the travesty that gay people exist and can't be acknowledged as such in schools. Because for the last 30+ years in America, the media and the people who actually run this country have been trying to put two sides against each other. They want politics to become a religion. They want people to hate each other. It's all going to come to a gigantic blow in the next few years. Anything that they can do to divide the people further allows them to win. It's not sudden. This has been happening for years. But I'd say the uptick in that kind of bigoted legislation is due to the midterm election coming up. Special interest groups defining funding. and driving an agenda rooted in Christian fundamentalism and racism. Republican lawmakers are all in because some of them believe in it and others want the funding. Because they feel empowered following the Trump administration. It will be one of the most damaging legacies of his shit show. That bigots feel they are the mainstream now. Plus the Republican Party keeps pandering to them and recruiting from them. The conservative crowd is terrified of becoming the minority and they will hold everyone in everything back as long as possible to make sure their worlds keep revolving around them. Because half of the country thinks the whole country needs to live their life by the rules of some book written 2,000 years ago, even though we have separation of church and state. Spoiler alert. We don't really. Pretty much every Republican politician tries writing and passing laws based off said book. Because conservatives in this country are hateful, worthless assholes who are still upset that Trump didn't win the 2020 election. Easy, say it with me. Racists, homophobes and just generally misguided people have united in order to make America great again, face with rolling eyes.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.